Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. In today's episode, we're going to be studying a piece by the career 3D artist known as Huleeb. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at this rather unsettling scene here. We're also going to explore what it means to enter the analysis chamber. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, we're struck by three large subjects just staring directly at us. Our first impression is one of shock or even curiosity as we just wonder upon this strange scene before us here. And so we see how these three large subjects command a majority of the spatial composition. You're just not going to miss them here. You may also notice how these large lines in the background act to frame our three subjects' form here. And on that topic, these rhythmic lines are quite strange to consider. They almost add a sense of weight to the composition, of course, that visual rhythm as it just descends further and further down the display. And within this work, although most of the composition is quite bright, the eye is drawn to these fluorescent orange masks here. These, of course, focus our attention on the faces of these three subjects, and it's just a harrowing sight. There is no doubt about that. And with this in mind, colors in this composition, notice, of course, it is black, it is white, and it is orange. So orange is going to be a very definitive and dominant element in this display, so that inherently is going to draw our eye to the face of the lone subjects here. And with this in mind, how do y'all feel when you view this piece, or what is your eye drawn to whenever you first see this work? And so, like I said earlier, we have these three subjects commanding a majority of the spatial composition, right? You'll notice they're suited up in hazmat suits, and they also have these, heavy industrial respirators that even give a sense of inherent danger to the work at hand as well. I think this is incredibly important. And, it's quite strange, they kind of look at one another, or even look back at us, and it almost feels as if we're being inspected under these bright white lights, right? They have these masks here, which make us feel as if we're in some type of toxic or dangerous environment, as I briefly mentioned previously. And so the title of this work as Analysis Chamber no doubt reveals the symbolism of the scene at hand. It almost feels as if we're the ones being inspected, observed, or even experimented upon. It's hard to say exactly what's happening here, but there is no doubt this is a scene of sci-fi, this is a scene of horror, and an incredibly unsettling one at that. I think there is no doubt about that. With this in mind, what do you all think is happening here? Or who do you think these subjects are? Like I said, it almost feels like we're the ones being experimented upon. They look back at one another almost like, is this the guy? This one looks at this subject, this guy looks at him, and he looks back at him. There is a sense of chaos to the work at hand. And of course, those hazmat suits and those heavy industrial respirators give us that inherent sense of danger, such a definitive element of this display. And so scenes such as this no doubt remind of, biological horror in one sense or another. Those hazmat suits, those respirators, or even, maybe, say, a radioactive meter. It's hard to say exactly what's happening here, but there is no doubt this is a very unsettling scene. And so really hope y'all enjoyed today. Like I said, you have influences of science fiction and horror within this work, but on that note, it's not entirely fiction. This could surely be a scene that you see out in the real world. So at the very least, this is a work of horror. So really hope y'all enjoyed today. The work before us is incredibly realistic, and that is due to its nature as a digital render. So the digital rendering program used here is going to be Blender. Blender has an incredibly high skill ceiling. I know everyone from amateurs to professionals who are using Blender to create their renders. So if y'all want to get into the world of 3D art, I would certainly suggest Blender. It's an amazing place to start. So like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. We talked about so many different things from, everything from visual rhythm to that color-based rarity drawing our eyes in, the scenes of sci-fi, the scenes of horror, and of course the incredibly realistic nature of the digital render as if we're standing there ourselves. So many different things we hit on today. I truly hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all enjoyed today's episode, make sure to check out the original artist Huleeb, doing some amazing stuff and truly a career artist at this point. I know so many people who have referenced Huleeb in their works, whether it's inspiration or inspired imitation. So like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed today, and if y'all enjoyed, make sure to check out the original artist Huleeb. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.